Hey everyone, this is the Canadian Lad, and today I'm gonna give you 5 essential reasons why Iron Man worked and became such a massive hit that allowed a simple studio to become one of the most successful cinematic franchises. So without any further ado, let's begin. Number 1. It was grounded in reality. One of the greatest reasons for a movie to succeed is an awesome, relatable plot, and the first Iron Man movie spared no effort in enjoying this advantage. Despite being a movie based on the transitioning of a billionaire playboy genius into a superhero who flies an AI-powered suit and co-founded the Avengers, one thing most fans and reviewers would agree on about Iron Man 1 is how grounded it really is in reality. This was made possible through common and relatable themes and technology present in this superhero movie. Tony Stark was the arrogant son of wealthy weapons manufacturer Howard Stark. He only cared about himself, but he would have a literal and figurative change of heart after he was kidnapped by terrorists and gravely injured. Pressured to create a weapon of mass destruction, Stark instead created a suit of armor powerful enough for him to escape. Tony uses his vast resources and intellect to make the world a better place as the invincible Iron Man. Stark's superhero identity led him to become a founding member of the Avengers. Just like DC's The Dark Knight is about Batman's evolution from a businessman to Batman, Iron Man earned the adoration of most of its audiences with how carefully it strived to maintain a decent grasp of reality. Essentially, we're not introduced to the ideal portrayal of a hero without flaws. We're instead carried along carefully enough through the hero's origin story in ways that are rational and understandable. Though Iron Man is rich and successful, but the movie shows him as an average human being with everyday struggles. Also, according to Robert Downey Jr. during an interview with Rotten Tomatoes, what worked for Iron Man is that it almost seemed like something from the cover of Popular Mechanics, so people must have responded to the big screen representation of Iron Man as though he was more of a high-tech James Bond. Number 2. The Robert Downey Jr. effect. When Robert Downey Jr. and Marvel got together to shoot Iron Man in 2007, the two could have been looking in the mirror. They were both down and out and in need of redemption. Downey was well removed from his glory years of Less Than Zero and Chaplin after series of public scandals. Marvel, on the other hand, was taking the risky launch of a studio without its biggest characters, because titles like Spider-Man and X-Men were licensed to other studios. As a result, the studio was forced to take the gamble of going with the lesser-known Tony Stark. No one thought that Iron Man could be an A-list superhero, and no one thought Downey could be an A-list star. Yet, when Iron Man became a surprise hit with 98 million US opening, that was the second highest ever for a non-sequel at that time. Everybody was shocked. As a tarnished star and a cinematically forgotten comic character, Downey and Iron Man seemed like a strange pair. But somehow that made them well suited to each other, the underused film property with underachieving talent. It didn't harm that Downey had the kind of acting skills rarely seen in a superhero film. Downey's versatility, his uncanny blend of vulnerability and swagger, helped elevate Iron Man, distinguishing it from just a brand exercise with interchangeable parts. In contrast to the strong, silent heroes of the age, Downey did it differently. He was smaller with a quicksilver tongue and sharp wit. He was always on his game, and he projected depth. But what's unique about Downey and Iron Man is how the power went in both directions. The property elevated the actor, and the actor made the property. Neither could thrive without the other. Try to imagine Iron Man or even the Marvel Cinematic Universe without Downey. That's impossible. The Robert Downey Jr. effect is real. It sure contributed a lot to the success of Iron Man movie and a lot more others to come in the MCU. Now, before I go on with this video, please have a look at this channel called Movie Flex Plus. He's a good friend of mine, and I would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe to his channel. He makes similar videos as I do, and even this video that you're watching right now, the script was written by him, so a big shout out to Movie Flex Plus. Go and subscribe after you're done watching this video. Moving on. Number 3. The first of its kind. When Iron Man was released in May 2008, the world was introduced to the superhero genre in ways that had not been experienced before. This would go on to change the superhero movie industry forever. It was quite strange for superhero movies to get cousin films and nominal standalone productions linked through inter-universe references, cameo appearances, and storylines bleeding over from different films. It was only seen in comic books where superheroes would communicate with each other across different realms and fight the same villain. Nobody really wanted to try that with movies, not until Iron Man set the MCU's wheels in motion. Back in 2008, the post-credit scenes of Iron Man 1 felt like a bold statement. Superheroes were used to being compartmentalized. They stayed in the frames of the movies built around them. They didn't set foot onto other stages, exchange banter, fight the same villains, or beef with each other. Iron Man promised something different and totally unheard of. It laid a rare and unexplored foundation that would create the solid upbringing for future franchises to come in the MCU. Not only that, but for a movie about a billionaire genius who builds a suit of armor to escape from terrorists and later to satisfy his newfound need to bring justice to a troubled world, Iron Man has surprisingly intimate scope. There's no civil wars fought, no city takeovers, no hostage threats, and no galactic beings intent on destroying the planet. There's only a rich megalomaniac who gets shocked into becoming a better person after confronting the ugly truth of his business face to face. This brought a plot to the screens that had rarely been experienced before. Iron Man would forever be remembered for a lot of things, but the most important of them all would be the awesome standards it set for the superhero genre that not only changed the MCU but revolutionized the portrayal of superheroes in other studios and franchises. Number 4. Great supporting cast. Another redeeming quality the Iron Man movie owes its success to was its supporting cast. The first Marvel movie went for supporting cast with big names like Bridges, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Terrence Howard, and that would be echoed in every Marvel film that has followed, with the likes of Michelle Pfeiffer, Anthony Hopkins, Robert Redford, Tommy Lee Jones, Rene Russo, Marisa Tomei, Michael Douglas, and Ben Kingsley. For Iron Man, the cast choices were meant to send a signal to Hollywood, the media, and film fans that Marvel Studios wanted to make movies that would be taken seriously. During an interview on the Iron Man set, the director Jon Favreau explained that he knew firsthand that cast choices could send a message to the audience. He said their intention was to make a movie that people notice and take seriously. It was their expectation to make something that a lot of people want to see, and they were able to achieve that with a decent casting of amazing actors and actresses. Number 5. Good publicity. Another advantage the first Iron Man movie enjoyed was the good and persistent publicity it enjoyed before and after its release. The first teaser poster released for the movie debuted approximately at the 2006 San Diego Comic-Con, almost 2 full years before the movie would find its way to theaters. It was taken there by Favreau, who had just a few months prior been named as the movie's director. It wasn't much, just basically a comic-esque painting of Iron Man with the promise of a May 2nd release date. But it was enough to really get the fans of the character and of comics and comic-to-movie adaptation fans excited about the prospect of the movie's eventual coming. However, this wouldn't be the last poster release. Afterwards, a few more posters were released after the teaser trailer, depicting some scenes from the trailer itself. This was a clear psychological attempt to solidify the memories of the teaser trailer in the minds of the fans who were now expectant at this point. The teaser trailer itself wasn't anything short of awesome. It debuted sometime in mid-2007 and received tremendous attention upon its release. It gave us an insight into what we might expect of the character to be his tragic flaw. The trailer hit all the high notes it needed to for the fans, showing the reworked origin of the character that's consistent with the comics while changing various things for obvious reasons of time and such. It starts off showing just how cocky and arrogant the character of Tony Stark is. A gorgeous reporter arouses more passion when she refers to him as the Merchant of Death than she does with calling him the Vinci of her time. Then in a weapons testing area, he shows an unrepentant confidence in talking about the devices he has created. It also showed the fans there would be humor, action, and more. All the things that are going to be important and not only appealing to the comics crowd but to mainstream audiences as well. The trailer would later be included on the Transformers DVD since the two audiences are likely to overlap greatly. The second trailer built upon the legacy of the first one by expanding it. It provided enough information to know what to expect, yet kept the suspense even more intense. Both were then complemented by the third one, which premiered at the Super Bowl and made the best impression of all. The film's publicity team wisely utilized a series of online campaigns on different social media sites. It was obvious that a good publicity heavily impacted the reception of the first Iron Man movie in the hearts and minds of people. And these are the 5 most crucial reasons I have behind the huge success of Iron Man 1, which led to Marvel giving us one of the greatest lines in history, "I am Iron Man." And that's it for today. Make sure to click the subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you never miss any updates from my channel. And before I end this video, please take a look at all this Marvel merchandise that you can buy using the link from description and get 60% off on anything. I'll see you lads and ladies in the next one.
Next time, baby. Boom, you looking for this?
I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.